Scene one, take one.
Okay, rolling.
First of all, thanks, Danny, for running the camera. I wanted to do a thing where it wasn't like a video essay or like a documentary per se, but more so opening up a discussion on identity. Because I guess a lot of people's topics are just going to be about being a minority in America or being white in America and how that makes you feel, but not a lot of people talk about being biracial in America. And in the class that I'm doing this for, we talk a lot about how the U.S. is a melting pot for race. And so not recognizing that, white people are going to be minorities, and then having biracial children, that kind of needs to be talked about, because growing up Asian and white and Polynesian, I think the biggest thing with that is just not feeling Asian enough to others who are fully minorities, or not feeling white enough. And the biggest concern there is why the do I need validation from anybody else? But that's kind of what I want to talk about, because from white people you sometimes get the, oh, you seem pretty Asian to me, and then Asian people are kind of well, you're part white, you're not fully one of us. And it's do I need to be one of somebody else? That's kind of the question that I want to ask and talk about. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so I want to talk about identity and recognition, I guess, but more from a personal context, because as much as we can read textbooks, it doesn't really relate to me. I don't really find it too important. I mean, I find it important because I am a minority in America, but at the same time, it's sometimes some aspects of it won't relate to me personally, but I should still learn about it. But I think one of my biggest takeaways from the class so far, or even just what we're talking about, was Charles Taylor. You ever heard of that guy? Okay, you're not taking the class, though. But he talks about. You can stop it. We can stop walking here. But no. Are you still shooting? You still shooting?
Oh.
Did you stop? No, it's okay.
Yeah.
No. You can just start again while I'm talking.
Yep. Okay.
But I guess one of the biggest things with that, he talks. I have the quote right here. I keep forgetting it because I don't know it by heart. I look cute.
You look really cute. You always look cute.
Dude, stop. So Charles Taylor, he says. And I'm not just doing this insert a quote in, because I feel a lot of people are just going to be talking about stuff, and then they're going to be insert quote here to get related to the text. But genuinely, he talks, he says, discovering my own identity doesn't mean that I work it out in isolation, but that I negotiate it through dialogue, partly overt, partly internal, with others. Which kind of means it's the same thing, because I want to talk to other people about my experience of being biracial, and how that differs me from both minorities and white people. And it's a lot of it's very much an internal conflict in the way where I don't feel fully white or fully Asian, and it kind of hurts in the way where I want others to accept me. But and again, I mean, there are other people who are biracial who are going through the same thing, but does that mean that I only fit in with them, or that I need to fit in with anybody? I don't know. That's weird. I mean, even Danny here is biracial, right?
Yep, that's me.
See? What's your ethnic background?
I'm Mexican and white.
That's really cool, Danny.
Thank you.
Yeah, but it's it's such a struggle, man. Because even the rapper Logic, people roast his ass because he always talks about being biracial. There's one running. It's sprinting. But yeah, no, it's okay, I'm not gonna lie, I fucking hate Logic. His music, not great. But people are oh, he's biracial? He doesn't even look black, or he doesn't even look white. And so it's okay, why do we need validation? But at the same time, you want to be perceived comfortably by others. I don't know. Yeah. So you can follow me. So one of my favorite stories from any superhero universe is Injustice. You ever heard of that?
Yeah.
So it's Superman goes crazy. And there's this scene. So Superman and Martian Manhunter are two of the aliens in Justice League. One of them's like a green guy with red eyes, and one of them's a white dude. So like, so when Superman's going evil, he fights Martian Manhunter, and Wonder Woman sides with Superman, and she tries to kill Martian Manhunter. And she says this like, I was like 12 when I was reading this, so it's like up. And I was reading it, and she's about to kill Martian Manhunter, and he says, 2 aliens on your team, and you sided with the one that looked like you. And so that stuck with me, because in the way it's like, they're both aliens. They both don't belong on Earth. They're both extraterrestrial. But for some reason, we tend to find comfort in those who look like us. And I'm like, I get it, but at the same time, it's like being biracial. It's like I don't look too much in either direction. I don't know. But either way, like regardless, it's like the same thing goes with like minorities in general, not just being biracial. Like I don't want to relate this just to me, but it's a little easier when it's more personal. You know, I don't know. Also, Michael Jackson. And I mean, I don't mean to complain about being biracial, because I think it's really cool coming from multiple cultures. More so, it's like the worry of recognition, because I have a very tough time recognizing who or what I am as a person. And then again, identity shouldn't boil down to your cultural or ethnic background, not at all. But at the same time, what are we if not our culture? So that's the complaint that I have about this. Sorry, guys. So yeah, it's Christmas time, so that's the reason I'm sitting here with Sandy. You can look at the tree over there. That's really cool. Yeah, but I don't mean to complain, I guess. More to just discuss the topic, because I don't think a lot of people have talked about being biracial, in the sense that we get all the detrimental benefactor, all the but at the same time, it's like I want to recognize myself within the communities. Like I'm so much more than my ethnicity, but sometimes people won't accept you purely based off ethnicity. And I think that's what we've been talking about for a really long time with just racism in general. Like, I don't know. It really just sucks with the way people think about it. Like, at the time where I strive to be identified by my culture and be proud of it, some people are like, well, why are you proud of it if it's what you're being oppressed for? And I'm like, no. I'm not being oppressed due to the fact I'm biracial or minority. I'm being oppressed due to the fact that there's hateful people. So if you ask me to shed my identity, you're doing it to protect yourself rather than to protect me, which is more so what I'm trying to say here. I don't want to like discount like culture that doesn't directly consider ethnicity. Like we watched the thing Paris is Burning, it's called Paris is Burning, I think. And it talks a lot about gay culture and identity and inclusivity. And well, I can't identify with that because I'm not gay, so a lot of it I try to translate into my own personal experience being ethnically a minority, and I never want to discount anybody else's sexuality or gender identities, because I just try to translate it to myself. Like in Preciato's text, like I read this textbook in this class, and he talks about how a lot of things in our life are based off of a single sex model, in the way that women are just seen as deviants of men, or that gender is centered around heterosexuality and hetero cisgendered people, in the way that, like, you know, like estrogen and testosterone, yeah, and like so like we research estrogen and testosterone for like Viagra and birth control. Like we want to control, we see like scientists or like pharmacies tend to see women just as a reproductive system, and then they get Viagra for men. They're like, oh, men's dicks don't work? Like, yeah, let's give them Viagra, let's research that. But like, we have the resources and the capabilities, but we're not researching like estrogen and testosterone in the favor of like the trans community. And so oftentimes I feel like we do a lot of this, if we translate this into ethnicity and racial culture, we do a lot of things as to benefit white people as they are the majority. And then it's almost as if minorities or biracial people, which are also minorities, we're not going to discount that, are seen as deviants of white people. So, like, why should I change my culture in an attempt to satisfy white people? I don't know. I feel like people don't want biracial, like, that identity, like, turmoil to be such a big deal. Because they're like, oh, you're half white, you're half Hawaiian, Asian, like, you know, you're cool, you know, you're mixed. But it's like, at the same time, it's f***ed up. I don't know. And I don't want to make it a big deal. I don't want to just sound like I'm whining about it, but I just feel like it should be talked about more. I don't know. Who knows? Cut. So yeah, it's been a hell of a night. I got gelato, so that was fun. And we're still talking about being biracial. And fun fact, our camera guy today is biracial. Come over here, Danny. Say hi.
Hello.
So, yeah, basically to conclude it, what are your opinions on everything we've talked about today, Danny?
Well, I think people tend to think of race and ethnicity as a box that you put people in.
Yeah.
The way I see it, it's actually more of a bag, I think.
It's a bag.
It's a bag, you know, rather than a box.
Why is it a bag?
Because, you know, I think culture, identity, ethnicity, and race, I think all of those things are a mix of things that can all exist together. You know, it's not one or the other. It's, you know, living and existing in a bunch of different places and spaces.
Yeah. I think one thing that I struggle with is that while I want to be, like, proud of my ethnicity, my identity, my culture,
yeah,
I'm scared of it defining me at times.
Yeah.
Because I don't want everybody to perceive me just as a minority or as an Asian, Hawaiian, American.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I'm proud of it to an extent, you know. But it's also like, I think we were talking about this earlier. Like, we were at Buffalo Wild Wings talking about this. But like, a lot of times, like, you know, we look at minorities and we see how much we're oppressed.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, like, even like, especially like after like Squid Game or shit like that, like, race is being fetishized.
Yeah,
completely.
Definitely.
And there's white people like getting like Hawaiian tattoos, or trying to do Korean monolids, or trying to like do like even blackface, and it's like all fetishized to the point of where white people want every benefit of being a minority without any of the oppressive drawbacks, and it's disgusting, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I feel like most people's opinions should be that, but I digress. But yeah, identity is crazy, and being biracial does not mean you're less of a minority. If anything, it's like we're like a smaller percentage in the fact that, like, we're supposed to be like the thing that brings like races together in a point. Like, we're supposed to like bring like two cultures together, but at the same time, it's kind of scary in the fact that we're rejected by both cultures sometimes, and that's how I've experienced, at least.
Yeah, I think we belong to a group that's underrepresented in a lot of different ways and not really that visible. But
No.
we're here.
We are here, and that's why we're talking about it. And I'm lactose intolerant.
You are?
I am, but it's like really good pistachio ice cream.
So it's worth it.
It's worth it.